having erupted 3 times in the last millennia, and the little-known Mono Lake complex lies to the north, having itself erupted 3 times in the last 1,000 years. In this entire chain, the youngest volcanic activity occurred at the aforementioned little-known Mono Lake complex, which produced an explosive volcanic eruption around 1750. And even more recently, specifically on August 17, 1890, the Mono Lake complex displayed an episode of volcanic unrest. That day, a series of earthquakes struck beneath the center of the lake, only to be seemingly followed by the brief appearance of vents degassing to such a high level from underwater that it not only rose above the lake water, but also was visible from afar. This apparently occurred right next to Negate Island. While no other episodes of unrest have occurred since then, it, along with the still active fumarole and hot springs in the complex, are a reminder that the Mono Lake complex is still active. This complex will always produce explosive activity that can disrupt air traffic during the initial phase of any future eruption, along with sometimes producing Merapi-type volcanic eruptions that result in pyroclastic flows being generated. As a result, the U.S. Geological Survey designated Mono Lake as a moderate threat volcano. Before I explain how long this volcano has hummocky terrain existed, I want to first elaborate on its most scientifically intriguing feature. Whenever a major landslide occurs, regardless of its cause or location, it leaves behind an instantly recognizable landform known as hummocky terrain. Here is an example I filmed at Mount St. Helens. There is also this example in Washington's Lake Roosevelt and at Canada's Frank Slide. In each example, you see numerous small to medium-sized hills that represent blocks or combined chunks of material deposited from a major landslide. And now, I want to bring your attention back to Mono Lake, specifically on Pauha Island. Note the occurrence of a major landslide scarp and hummocky terrain on its western side. The area which collapsed formerly only had an average slope of 3 degrees, meaning it shouldn't have collapsed. So what happened here? The answer is cryptodomy, that this island in the time span of less than a year during the 18th century rose by a whopping 415 feet or 126 meters. This was caused by the expansion of a northward trending magma dike that generated a cryptodome, uplifting what were lake bottom sediments and causing landslides to occur due to the uneven uplift. But since this body of magma was in spots likely less than 50 feet below ground, part of the magma eventually erupted onto the surface in the northern half of the newly formed island, emplacing a